Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Ashley and today I am going to be bringing to you all of the awesome drugstore liquid lipsticks that I have found that have just recently launched. So my original thinking of what I was going to film this weekend for you was a one look tutorial with all of the new Wet n Wild products that have come out. And I found a bunch of them. However, I have not been able to find any of the face products. So the foundation, the concealer, the powder. So it just felt very incomplete. However, when I was shopping or searching rather for those products, I did come across a lot of newer liquid lipsticks. Of course, you've heard about the Wet n Wild Catsuit ones, which I do have some of those to share with you today. But I happened to see that Jordana actually released some liquid lipsticks that are quite similar. So these are called the Sweet Cream Matte Liquid Lip Colors. I have two of them. This one that I'm wearing right now is in Molten Chocolate Cake, and it's really pretty. I will say that they have a very strong perfume scent to them. It's supposed to be sweet, but it just kind of comes off as very, very artificial. But as far as the color goes and the longevity of them, I still like them very well. I like them better when you kind of thin them out just a little bit. So I'll usually put just some on and then kind of rub it over my lips and then go over any areas. Otherwise on me, it does tend to build up and get a little bit cakey and crackly. But again, I do really like them. This is in the color Molten Chocolate Cake and it is really, really stunning and I definitely do recommend it. Now the other color that I got of the Jordanas is in the color Red Velvet. And I have to say one thing to kind of bear in mind is that the color in the tube does not always look the same as the color on your lips. So you may not be able to tell with the camera, but it is definitely pulling much more raspberry than the true red that you kind of see in the packaging. It's still beautiful. Don't get me wrong, it's still a really nice shade and it's still one that I will wear. Just know that it's not going to look, at least in the colors that I got, it's not always going to look the same on as it does in the tube. The other thing to kind of compare it to the Wet n Wild, these do dry down a lot more quickly than the Wet n Wild ones do, which is good in some ways, but also you have a little bit less time to kind of work with the product. And then also with these, you do get the same sort of scooped applicator, which I definitely like. You probably can't tell very well, but it holds just a lot of product in that dip. And that's something that I really appreciate, especially with fuller lips like mine. Not having to constantly go back into the tube to pull more product I think is nice. And I feel like it does help to kind of make that very nice crisp line. So again, this is the color Red Velvet. So the other new launch that I happened upon in my search for Wet n Wild products was by Milani. They have so many shades. Please don't think that these are the only ones. They came out with two kind of ranges in their new matte lips. I have two here, these two on the end that are from their metallic lip cream. And then this one here on the end is just a regular matte. And these are so darn pretty. I would have loved to just buy every single color, and trust me, I will be going back to buy some more because these are so, so beautiful. So let me go ahead and put these on for you so that you can see how they look on as well, because they're awesome. You're gonna really like them. Alrighty, so this is the first shade that I'm trying on for you. This is just the Amore Matte Lip Cream, and this is in the shade Stunning. It is a beautiful kind of brownish nude, and I really, really, really like this color. I feel like it's very flattering on my skin. And while it does have, again, that kind of artificial kind of bakery scent to it, I don't find it quite as objectionable as the Jordana ones. Now these were a little bit more expensive than the Jordana ones. Those were $4.99, whereas this was $7.99. But Milani products are so stinking good. It does dry down to a matte finish. It does dry down the way a liquid lipstick would, and it is one that I definitely recommend. So again, this is Stunning. All right, so the next shade that I have from Milani is in their metallic lip cream line. This is in the shade Overdramatic, and it is definitely metallic. So if you've been wanting to get into the metallic lip trend without breaking the bank, this is a really good option. So this is definitely going to it's going to enhance any lines in your lips. So definitely know that going in. But that's going to be any metallic shade, to be quite honest with you. Again, it does wear quite comfortably. It dries down very, very quickly, which is nice. The applicator is a little bit different. So this is the type of applicator that it's flat on both sides. It's still plush, it is still a doe foot applicator, but it's not just the one side with the scoop. It actually does have product on both sides, which again, I do find nice because you don't have to go in to get more product. You can apply an entire coat with just the one wand. So that I do like. And one thing to know with these, I have not put them through an all-day wear test or anything like that. I just bought these. But in between takes, they are really, really sticking on there. Takes a lot of elbow grease to get it off again. So that does make me feel very confident that they will be quite long wearing. What I don't know is how well they wear down over time or how they survive through eating and drinking. I've really only been drinking coffee, so I haven't seen any transfer on my cup, which is kind of cool, but I do think that this so far has been a good product. So the other shade that I purchased from the Milani metallic lip cream line is this shade here called Materialistic. And I think of the two, I prefer this shade. It's just a little bit more me. Overexposed was, no, not Overexposed. What was this color? This was Overdramatic, sorry. Overdramatic is a much more pinky sort of color, whereas this is a metallic bronzy shade. Again, this one is Materialistic, and it is really, really pretty. I like it quite a lot. Again, it does have a very, very foiled look, which I think is kind of neat. It gives you a little bit of edginess. I don't know how often I would wear a metallic lip in my everyday life, but it is definitely something fun that I'm glad that I have in my collection. And you can't go wrong with Milani products. They have some of the best drugstore products out there. So if you've been wanting to get into this trend, this I feel like is a great way to go. Alrighty, and now we get into the drugstore liquid lipstick that kind of sent me down this rabbit hole to begin with. I didn't actually realize that I purchased two different kinds. So I have two of the Catsuit, which are kind of the ones that everybody's talking about. And then I didn't realize I also got two matte liquid lipsticks from their Color Icon collection. So that's kind of cool. I will put on both of these for you so that you can see what they look like and tell you kind of how I feel about both of them, okay? Alright, so the first shade that I have for you in the liquid Catsuit line is, what is this, Rebel Rose. And this is so darn pretty. It is flattering on so many different people, and I feel like it pulls a little bit differently on everybody. Since there have been so many other YouTubers out there that have been reviewing these colors, I feel like they look different on everybody, but they still look great on everybody. Now these are a little bit different than the other two brands that I've shown you so far. These don't dry down nearly as fast as the Jordana and the Milani, which in some ways I kind of like because it gives you a little bit longer to work with it. But on the flip side of that, you also have to be a little bit careful that you don't end up with it on your teeth. You do have to wait for it to dry down. It takes about a minute, I find, before that tackiness sort of goes away. But because I have had these a little bit longer and I've worn them longer, I do find that they do have really great staying power. These tend to last on me for a good 5 or 6 hours before I need to kind of smooth it out a little bit. Because these are liquid lipsticks, I don't find that it works well to layer more on top of it later for touch-ups. I do the same thing with these that I do with all of my other liquid lipsticks. At the end of the day, when it does start to kind of wear a lot in the center of the lip, or it starts to look a little bit dry, I will just put some lip gloss over it, kind of rub my lips together, and that gets me through the end of my workday, essentially. But these are very comfortable. They are very beautiful. And I definitely recommend this. And again, this shade is in Rebel Rose. So the other shade that I have been absolutely loving in this catsuit line, liquid catsuit, is Give Me Mocha. Yeah, Give Me Mocha. This color is so fantastic. I have worn this so much since I bought it. It is so flattering. And this is, again, with all of the products that I've tried on so far, they all go on perfectly with one swipe, one coat. I don't find that I've had any patchiness with any of the colors that I've worked with so far. And I could not recommend these more highly. I'm not gonna lie. These are so good. They are worth the hype that everybody's giving them. And I love this shade. I love this shade. All right, so the first color that I have to share with you in this Color Icon matte liquid lipstick range, this is in the color Tulip to Quit, which is such a fun name, but is this gorgeous bright fuchsia pinky kind of color, a little bit of purple in there. This is going to be amazing in the spring and a little bit in the summer. Probably not going to wear it too much right now, but I really do love the color. Again, the same with the catsuit. It does take some time to dry down, so just be aware of that. And then also with the darker colors, you do want to keep an eye for it to become patchy. This one I didn't have any trouble with, but I do know that it is far more common to have some patchiness in the darker shades, more vibrant shades, than in the more nude ones. But yeah, I absolutely love this color. I think it is so much fun, and I definitely do recommend it. Alrighty, so the last color that I have here in the Wet n Wild, the Color Icon matte liquid lipstick, is this color here in Don't Be a Plum Plum. And it is this very deep, vampy, fun plum color. This one I did have some trouble applying. It does get patchy. It does get kind of difficult to apply. And you have to wait until it's completely dry before trying to put on that second coat. Otherwise, it just tugs at itself and bunches up, and then it actually makes it streakier. It is still a freaking gorgeous color, but just be aware that this one is just a little bit harder to work with. But again, as long as you let it dry in between those two coats, then you will be good to go. Just don't put it on too thick. It's better to go with two thinner coats than two big heavy coats, because otherwise it'll crack, and that's just not a good look. But I like it. I like it. This is not an everyday sort of color. It is, like I said, a very vampy, fun color. But it's a good thing to have in my collection. So thank you so much for spending some time with me today and kind of discovering what new liquid lipsticks there are at the drugstore. I feel like these drugstore brands have really upped to their game, and you can find just some really awesome products there at the drugstore that don't break the bank, which I personally appreciate, especially being such a connoisseur of makeup and especially lip colors. I like being able to kind of go ham without breaking my bank account. So I hope that everybody has a fabulous week. Thank you so much for spending some time with me. Make sure to subscribe before you leave, and I will see you next time.